Hi everyone, I'm popping in. I was going to do a short, but I think it was a little bit more to say than I could do in 60 seconds, so I thought I would just pop in and do a quick live. It's intense, as many of you might be feeling it, since the Mars-Uranus conjunction, and Mars is transiting over Uranus, and also then since the full moon on July 21st. So what I'm feeling going on is, and Sammie's indicating it was her behavior for the last couple of days, is it's really affecting our bone structure. It feels like there's a new horizontal grid that is activating now, and we are uh, aligning to that, which means then it's going to affect the very structure of our body. So things like the bones, uh, the muscles, the fascia, all these aspects that create the structure of our body here, and we're plugging into this higher octave first dimension. So it feels that's kind of the last phase in a sense. I don't know if that's the last phase, but I mean, there's a whole lot more. But this is something that feels like it's happening now. And interestingly, uh, this image came to mind that I had actually drawn in 2017. So there are. I'm noticing now that there are several things that I did in 2017 with the autists. And we did this series called The Planetary Synthesis, which is also on YouTube. It starts with July 2017. So, I didn't know exactly what was happening at the time, but those things seem to be activating now. And, I kind of let it go because nobody else seemed to be talking about it and seemed to be aware of it in that sense. But so the general sense that I have is that many of these things that we need to kind of make that jump was already laid many years ago, over several years. And what I see is that it's actually our children, many of our children that are born. When they're born, they're actually, because they're landing on the planet, like they're bringing that in, and laying it. So even like some of us older ones that are, might be called indigos, or those types of individuals. So when we were born, I was born in the 60s. So those of us in our late 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, we're actually then kind of laying things when we're born. So then people in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And so there are groups, and then obviously within the year there are subgroups that are laying these things as a foundation, so to speak. So this particular grid was laid by these children, and it started coming up in 2016 or so. Um, Octogenarian children, and I was like, octogenarians, and octogenarian, if you look it up, means people who are in their 80s typically. But in this case, it's like the eight generation is what, now understanding it to me to mean. And so my youngest son is part of that group, born in 2001. And again, there are many other subgroups. There are many groups and subgroups, and they might be specialized in certain areas. So it's like there are these very rare, um, indigos and crystal children and diamond, platinum children that are being born. Um, but it's like it's not trying to say that any one group is better, because there are many tens of thousands, it feels like, of these small groups, when they're born, and they're doing this specialized thing. So there's many groups, and they're rare for what they do. you know. So, um, I'm just aware of this subgroup, the octogenarians, because my youngest son seems to be part of that group. But anyway, they had laid this horizontal grid, which feels like it's a higher octave, maybe first, second, third dimension. We talk about moving up octaves, and as 3D is gone, and it's kind of a transition to our bodies changing. So um, there is sort of like a 3D first, second, third dimension, if you want to call it that. But it's at a higher octave, and now we're getting into. It feels like we're getting into that first dimensional layer. So these octogenarian children, this group, they're young adults now, obviously. They, from what I received, was that they are um, Syrian descendants, in a sense, and uh, they're on the, let's say, on the opposite side of the Milky Way galaxy. From where the Earth is, there's a little fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional little planetoid, which remained hidden, and that's the way I was shown it in 2017. So they remained hidden, and they were hiding these light codes, which are geometries, and so um, they are releasing things. And I remember one actually looked like an orca whale. Now that I think about it, but so these things were already laid, uh, and so that as we are removing layers of the veil, let's say, then these things are revealing themselves to us. And so uh, it's a matter of aligning to that. So these aren't, quote, new, um, but they're new to us, and now they're activating. So it might feel kind of wobbly until we adjust to it. So the sound tone that I was given, that I was shown a couple of days ago, is to plug into the higher octave first dimension, um, and I'm getting prompts from Sammie to, I think, share it, because she was agitated, because the more people who are kind of maybe toning this, then we're helping to stabilize this. So again, everybody's doing it a little differently. So if it feels resonant to you, and you want to say this sound, it's A, E, Ya, Ni. A, E, Ya, Ni. A, E, Ya, Ni. So if you want to try that to see if it helps stabilize you. When I started that tone, I could start to feel my tailbone, which is connected to first dimension, and also then the bone structure of our physical bodies. So if you feel guided to give that a try to see if it helps to stabilize, then you might want to do that. Things feel like they're changing very, very rapidly, um, and they are. It's because I'm seeing that many of these foundations were already laid, they're activating, and now it's happening really fast. Things are happening really, really quickly, and so I just wanted to pop in and offer that perspective. Again, respect who you are, where you are. If it doesn't resonate, for you, then it's absolutely fine. Other people are doing it in other different ways, and so we're all playing a part in a different way. So don't worry if you don't feel it right now, or other people don't feel it. there are going to be more phases when more people are going to be awakening. So even if other people don't, you know, seem like they're feeling any of this going on, they're not affected by solar flares, you know, and anything like that, and that's absolutely fine. Again, there's going to be these sort of major phases that people are going to in the awakening, so to speak, and it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen much faster here now in the next couple of years, because you just can't ignore the fact that the outer world is very surreal, um, and sometimes it's good to take a step back and realize that it's kind of like a satire, satirical movie that's playing out. You know, I know people are getting hurt and things like that, and in the physical world, when you're injured like that, there is pain, and so that is, in a sense, quote, real. Um, but in order to get out of that, we have to um, lift our consciousness out of that, which I feel like Uranus um, was bringing through, or is bringing through, rainbow sylphs from the original 5D Tara, and you know, sylphs have to do with the mental. I don't want to say mental body, it's mental mind. So to help clear that out, and Mars, I was seeing since early 2023 that Mars was bringing through stone divas from Tara, and so stone divas to me, you know, is related to our crystalline bone structure and things like that. So, um, so the Mars as the god of war is being transmuted, changed, transfigured. Even is the word that comes up to a higher octave, and Uranus then bringing in this higher octave mental mind processing. So Samantha was even showing me last night that there's a 4D sort of linear processing versus like the 3D linear processing, which is really just flat, but there does seem to be this 4D linear processing um, where you process from the center of your mind. There's no mental, separate emotional body. It's processing through emotions in the sense of sensory information, and then also using like our mind processing. But first, we have to exorcise, meaning like an exorcism of the linear mind patterns, you know, because it's like has created like a loop, a way of thinking, a way of processing. The energy of that processing only moves a certain way, and so that pattern is very ingrained in a lot of us. So there is a new mental 4D linear processing, and it involves like what I can see is like these kind of shapes, different shapes. They take on different geometric energy forms, and then they like have a line. So I'm not sure what that all is going to look like right now, but you know, it's related to then processing from the center of the brain. Our central vertical channel, or the horror line, actually connects to the corpus callosum in the brain. Different brain wave patterns, lambda wave, what I call the ta wave, which is the neurological vibration of the earth, or even what I'm getting right now is Tara, Gaia, which are higher dimensional versions of earth, so to speak. And what were the other ones? I can't think of all the lambda, tau, I can't remember the other names right now. I can't remember the names right now. But there were like three or four, and the theta wave is one of them, and the theta, which is our one of our natural brain wave states, uh, and it promotes this feeling of peace. Um, that's the only one that is actually natural to the organic to the true human template, and the other ones like the delta and the alpha, um, according to what I've been getting from Sam and my higher self and things like that. The delta, the alpha, those waves are actually not conducive to the true human, and propagates that left brain 3D thinking. So um, we'll see how this unfolds. Again, it's like watching, to me, it's like watching a satire, the outer world, the way, it's playing out. A lot of ridiculous narratives and things, but, we're plugging away, and like I said, things were already, the foundations were already laid, and so now things are just beginning to really activate. So, the good part is really, just starting. So hang in there. And I see a couple of people that were watching, so thank you for tuning in. I'll be sharing this around, and feel free to share it as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, how do I stop this? Let me see. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Primal Cry. Yeah, you're always popping in. I appreciate it very much. So, yeah, I just have to figure out how to stop this now without deleting it. Okay. Da, 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 da.